Hello students, welcome back. This is the first of what I hope to be daily videos for you to watch because I know you miss this face. And to be honest, there are lots of videos out there already, um, especially on AP Classroom. There are videos about the new content that we're going to go over. But those videos are like 45 minutes long and they don't feature me. So I'm going to make a few of my own here. We'll see how it goes. So today we are going to start talking about inheritance, which is Unit 9. Before I start, I do want to mention that we now have full access to Code HS. So not only can you go on there and look at videos and examples and exercises, you can actually do the exercises on the website and I can see the results. So we're going to be using that the rest of the way. So let's get started in Unit 9. Here we go. Unit 9 is about inheritance. This is an extension of chapters 2 and 5 that we did earlier this year. Chapter 2, we learned the basics of writing a class. Chapter 5, we dove deeper into writing classes where we wrote getters and setters and different kinds of methods and talked about the variables the classes have and writing different constructors and all that good stuff. So now in Unit 9, we're going to take that up a notch. A class is defined by what properties an object has and what actions it can take. So the properties become member variables in our class, and the actions that the object can take become those methods of the class. So let's say you are working on a Mario game, right? It's 1986 in Japan, and you have really been toiling away at making a Goomba, right? So you spent a lot of time on it. You've got everything working. You've got the hitbox around the Goomba. You've got gravity working on it. So if it falls off a platform, that's working. It can move. It's got a point value. When you stomp it, it's stompable. Everything's working great. Okay. And so then your boss is like, yes, I like this Goomba. Now make me a Koopa Troopa. And you're like, geez, I mean, it seems like a lot of work and most of it's going to be the same stuff. I mean, can I just like reskin this? No, I guess not, because Koopa Troopas kind of have some different behaviors. They got a turtle shell, not quite the same. So the point of inheritance is taking classes that have a lot of similar things and extracting those similar things into what's called a superclass. A superclass for Mario could be something like enemy. What do enemies have in common? Well, they have a hitbox area. Most of them are stompable. Most of them can move. They are affected by gravity. All these things that they have in common that you don't want to have to copy and paste code for or rewrite code for. So we're going to take all that code that they have in common and we're going to put it in, again, superclass. Now we know from chapter 5 that if you do have a class called Goomba, you can make as many Goombas as you want. The Goomba class is the blueprint, and then you make instances of that Goomba class, and then you can control things like where that Goomba is placed. You could change the point value for each Goomba if you wanted. You could even change the color maybe and the size of the Goombas with that blueprint. But now we want to not just make a bunch of different Goombas, we want to make a bunch of different enemies. And some of these enemies can do some things that other enemies can't, right? But still, they have these commonalities. like the gravity, like the hitbox, like the movement, that the fact that they're drawn on a screen using some sort of graphics renderer. These things aren't changing, and we want to reuse the code for those things. So when you're ready to make your Koopa Troopas, your Cheep Cheeps, your Moles, your Bullet Bills, your Hammer Bros, all these things have different capabilities, and they might all be different subclasses. So an example that you're going to see a lot on CodeHS is modeling people that work, say, at a school. All the people that work at a school and go to school at the school have some common properties, right? Everybody's got a name, first name, last name. We all have pictures on file. We all have a date of birth. So we can take all these common properties that we have and put them in a superclass called person. And then we can make subclasses of person like teacher and student and administrator and assistant. Because all these people, a student is a person, a teacher is a person, all these people have different extra properties. Like a student would have a GPA, a teacher wouldn't have a GPA. A student would have classes, an administrator wouldn't have classes. So today, very quickly, we're going to code a quick superclass subclass example. And I'm going to use a different example than the ones you're going to see on CodeHS, just to give you a little different look at it. So we're going to do something with football players. And I know that a lot of you probably don't know that much about football, but it's fine. I'll teach you about football. You don't need to know a lot about football to get this example, and I think the example works pretty well. So, what I want you to do right now is start a new project on Replit, repl.it. You can call it Unit 9 Football Players, and I will show you a very basic example of how to make a superclass and a subclass work together. Alright, so make that project in repl.it. You can name it Football Players Unit 9. Maybe at this point you want to put this video up on your phone so that you can set it to the side and follow along while you're programming on repl.it, or maybe you can do Windows side by side, or if you're lucky enough to have a dual monitor system at home, you could set up something like that. Hopefully you can make something work out of this, because I definitely encourage you to write this code and work it out with me at the same time. So when you're using inheritance, you have to put a lot of thought into what are the properties that these related classes have in common. So for football players, what I'm thinking is there are different kinds of players in a football game, like quarterbacks, receivers, linemen, kickers, that sort of thing. They all have some common properties, though. Like if we were programming a video game for football players, or we were modeling the NFL Combine, we're keeping track of data there, or simply keeping some stats for high school football, and we were going to create different players. We might want to have them be able to do different things based on their position and have different classes for different positions, but yet have this superclass called football player that stores all the main properties and actions that all football players have and can do. So let's make a new file called football. 。 player. All right, so properties all football players have. They all have names, let's say. And for our purposes, we'll just put their first name and last name together in one property. All football players have numbers, a jersey number, right? Football players are going to have a weight. They are going to have a height. And they're going to have a 40 speed, right? That's how fast they can run the 40-meter dash. So there we go. There's some properties that a football player has. So now let's make another file. We'll call this one line. Now here comes the key moment in the lesson. How do we connect a lineman to a football player? Because a lineman is a football player. Not all football players are linemen, but a lineman is a football player. How do we make that connection? So the key word, and literally it's a keyword in Java, is extends. Extends means that a lineman is going to be labeled as some broader class. And so in this case, of course, it is football player. A lineman extends football player. This is a one-way relationship. It's not a two-way thing. Not all football players are linemen, but a lineman is a football player. And since a lineman is a football player, they automatically inherit the properties of a football player. So we are not going to retype all those properties in this class. All right. So right now, all this is going to be is just an empty class right now, because we don't need to put all those properties in here again. What we would put in here is any properties that are specific to linemen. So what might linemen have or do that would be specific to them? Oh, we might want to keep track of how many pancake blocks they have. Pancake blocks are when you just flatten your opponent to the ground like a pancake. So that would be a stat that we'd be keeping track of for linemen, where we would not be keeping track of this for, say, general football players like other running backs, kickers, and the like. Now, to finish up, let's make a very quick constructor. We're going to get more into constructors in our next lesson tomorrow. But for right now, let's make a really basic constructor in the football player class that just says something like, I play football. Okay? And then we're going to go to main, and we're going to make a couple football players. Now, this is very interesting. There's a couple different ways we can make football players. We can go football player F1 equals new football player. We can go lineman equals new lineman. Now, we haven't made a constructor for the lineman class, but as we learned back in chapter 2, chapter 5, it's okay. Right? There's like a default constructor provided by Java automatically. But then we'll watch this. We can also do this. Football player. Oops, I forgot to name my lineman. We can also do that. Football player equals new lineman. Because linemen are football players. Why would you want to do this? We will explore this in future lessons as well. But for right now, know that you can do this, but you cannot do this. That's not going to work because not all football players are linemen. So that's a no-no. So we're going to take that part out. All right. So to finish up today, let's quickly run this example. So after cleaning up the copious number of mistakes that I made while writing this out the first time, hey, give me a break. It's hard to teach and code and do video at the same time. We run the program and 3 football players have been created. I play football, I play football, I play football. Now, where did that code come from? It all came from the football class. When we made a lineman object here in line 6, that line also produced the output I play football because linemen are football players. All right, that's all for today, folks. Here is your assignment tonight. I would like you to watch the video on Code HS from section 9.1. It's video 9.1.1. It's only like 7 minutes. She's going to explain a lot of the same stuff that I did, but it's going to help to see it a second time from a second perspective. After you finish watching that video, I want you to take the quiz 9.1.2, and then if you want to look at some of the examples that they have there of inheritance, you can do that, but I'm going to talk more about those tomorrow. All right, until then, see ya.